I paid off my parents' entire mortgage as a surprise for their anniversary, and then discovered they added my brother's name to the deed behind my back. So when they asked for more money, I gave them an answer they will never forget. I spent 15 years building my business from nothing, while my older brother spent those same years borrowing money from our parents and never paying it back. So when I decided to pay off their mortgage as a surprise anniversary gift, I never imagined they would thank me by putting his name on the house instead of mine. Growing up, I was always the responsible one. I mowed lawns in middle school and worked at a warehouse through high school. My brother coasted through life expecting everything to be handed to him. When he dropped out of college, our parents paid his rent for 2 years. When he wrecked his car, they bought him another one. When I asked for help with textbooks, they told me I was smart enough to figure it out on my own. I learned early that their love came with different price tags depending on which son was asking. After college, I started a small landscaping company that grew into something real. By 35, I had 12 employees and contracts all over the county. My brother worked odd jobs and always had an excuse for why nothing was his fault. Our parents complained constantly about their mortgage and how they might lose the house when they retired. I listened to this for years and finally decided to do something about it. On their 40th anniversary, I handed them a card with the payoff confirmation inside. $140,000 gone. Their house was free and clear because their younger son wanted them to enjoy retirement without worry. My mother cried, and my father hugged me for the first time in years. My brother sat in the corner looking annoyed that the attention wasn't on him. I didn't care. I felt good about what I did. 8 months later, I stopped by unannounced to help my father fix his gutters. He wasn't home, but my mother was sorting through paperwork at the kitchen table. I saw the deed sitting right there with fresh signatures. I asked her about it casually, and she got nervous. She tried to hide it, but I had already seen enough. My brother's name was on the deed right next to theirs. They added him as a joint owner 3 months after I paid off the house. I asked her directly why his name was on the house I paid for. She stumbled through an explanation about how he needed stability, and they wanted to make sure he had somewhere to go if something happened to them. I reminded her that I was the one who paid for that stability. She said I had my own success and didn't need the help like he did. She actually said that to my face without any shame. I drove home and didn't speak to them for 3 weeks. I met with my accountant and my lawyer just to understand my options. Because I paid the mortgage as a gift with no written agreement, I had no legal claim to the property. It was their house to do with as they pleased. That truth burned, but it also set me free. I realized I had been funding people who would never respect what I sacrificed for them. A few months later, my parents called asking for help with property taxes. Now that my brother was partial owner, he was supposed to contribute, but of course he had no money. They also mentioned the roof needed repairs and the furnace was failing. They estimated everything would cost around $30,000 over the next year. My father asked if I could help, since I had always been so generous. I told them no. I explained calmly that I had already given them $140,000 and received nothing but disrespect in return. I said their house now belonged to 3 people, and those 3 people could figure out how to maintain it. My mother started crying, and my father called me ungrateful. I told them I learned from the best, and hung up. Over the next 2 years, I watched from a distance. They couldn't afford the repairs, and my brother contributed nothing. The roof leak caused water damage. The furnace died in winter, and they used space heaters for months. Property taxes went unpaid, and penalties added up. Eventually, they had no choice but to sell the house to cover their debts. My brother's name on the deed meant he got a third of the sale, but that money disappeared within 6 months on things nobody can account for. My parents now rent a small apartment across town. They called me once asking if I could help with their deposit, and I reminded them that I already gave them a house worth of help. My brother blames me for everything, even though I didn't create a single one of his problems. I used that $30,000 they wanted to put a down payment on my own home. I sit on my porch sometimes and feel at peace, knowing I will never fund people who see my success as their personal savings account. The house they lost was paid for with my money, but it was never going to be mine. So I let it go, and I let them go with it.